And welcome this Friday night to Hannity, and this is a Fox News alert. Breaking news tonight about the 2016 campaign. New audio was leaked of Donald Trump talking about women on a hot mic back in 2005. Also tonight, WikiLeaks has released damning new material about Hillary Clinton and her campaign. Now, parts include excerpts of her Wall Street speeches. We're going to get to all that in just a moment, but first, Hurricane Matthew continues to make its way up the eastern seaboard. It is still a powerful Category 2 hurricane, and joining us now on the ground in Savannah, Georgia, is Rob Schmidt. Rob, what's going on?
Yeah, Sean, dumping rain, some powerful wind coming through, but the worst is not here yet. The eye of that storm probably still about 70 miles to our south, but moving in this direction. And as you know, as we've seen today, the storm hasn't been as bad as we thought because that eye still has not touched the United States. That could happen here in Savannah or maybe to my north in Charleston. Right here, I'm on River Street here in Savannah. We're down by the water. This is as close to sea level as we're going to get. That's the Savannah River. Across the way is South Carolina. In Savannah right now, there is a mandatory evacuation underway anywhere east of I-95. That's about a 20-mile stretch to the water. There's about 100,000 people in the state of Georgia without power at this point. And what we're really concerned about tonight, Sean, is the fact that this storm appears to be moving into this direction, and the eye could be hitting Savannah and surrounding areas right at the same time as high tide, and that's around 2 o'clock in the morning. So water, as it usually is with these storms, could be the most dangerous, the most deadly factor in this storm. Not always wind, but this time water. Where I'm standing could be completely underwater in just a matter of hours.
All right, Rob, thank you. And joining us now is Fox News Chief Meteorologist Rick Reitmuth is with us. Rick, what's going on?
Hey, Sean. Still have our hurricane warnings in effect for northern parts of Florida, although I think you're going to be getting a little bit better, getting some offshore winds. But Georgia still, South Carolina and North Carolina under the gun here. We're about 36 hours in. We have about 36 hours to go before this storm is completely gone. And the rainfall totals are going to be extreme once it moves towards the north, worse than it was across areas of Florida. And so take a look at this. A widespread area around 10 inches of rain, and we'll see some isolated spots about 15 inches. We had incredible flooding in North Carolina about 2 weeks ago, and that ground is saturated. The rivers are still full, and 10 inches of rain on top of that will be catastrophic. Storm surge is going to be extreme around Charleston, and at this point, we're expecting to see the second biggest storm surge ever in Charleston, right behind Hurricane Hugo, and that is saying something. Winds still at 120 miles an hour. The pressure still low. Means it's just an incredibly strong storm that is still here. We have the rain to go. We have the wind to go. The worst wind we've seen is just over 100 miles an hour that we saw in Florida. And Rob is right. The storm stayed about 20 miles offshore, and that certainly spared us from the worst of the wind. But we still have a lot of storm surge to go, especially across this coastal area that is especially prone to storm surge. Overnight tonight towards tomorrow morning, the center of the storm again getting very close to land, likely around the Charleston area. But take a look at how heavy this rain is. For Saturday, we have it. It's gone in South Carolina by the evening. But take a look at that, Sean. It is about midday Sunday, finally, before this storm is completely off the eastern seaboard.
All right, Rick, thank you. We'll continue to bring you live updates on Hurricane Matthew all throughout the program. But first, earlier today, the Washington Post released audio of Donald Trump from 2005. He was caught on a hot mic while speaking with then host of Access Hollywood, Billy Bush, now right before he was about to make a cameo on a soap opera. Watch this.
I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and she was married.
It's huge news there.
She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took out furniture. I moved on her like a but I couldn't get there, and she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony she's totally changed her look. I got to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Now, after the tape was released, Donald Trump put out a statement. It read, quote, "This was locker room banter, a private conversation that took place many years ago. Bill Clinton has said far worse to me on the golf course, not even close, but I apologize if anyone was offended." Joining us now tonight with reaction, Fox News contributor Monica Crowley, the host of Justice, Judge Jeanine Pirro. All right. Nobody's going to defend this. You can't defend it is wrong, it is inappropriate, it is outrageous. I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. Here's it, and you know what it is? It is locker room. Sound like a lot of braggadocio. Paul Ryan pulled out. Reince Priebus said no woman should ever be described in these terms. Mitt Romney, of course. Jeb Bush, of course. Senator Flake, of course. And you don't make excuses. When you think something's wrong, it's wrong. Here is where we get into, I think, a very important question in this campaign right now. Because the media, by and large, and people in the media and people out in the public, they don't know about Juanita Broaddrick, who claims she was raped. They don't know about Kathleen Willey, who claims she was groped and grabbed and fondled and kissed against her will. They don't know that Paul Jones was paid an $850,000 settlement because then Arkansas Attorney General Bill Clinton exposed himself, which is beyond perverted. And when Hillary tweeted out tonight, "This is horrific, we cannot allow this man to become president," I tweeted back, well, why selective moral outrage? Where were you when Juanita spoke out, and Kathleen spoke out, and Paula spoke out? Now, I know some people in the audience are going to say, Hannity, you're defending Trump. No, I think what he said is outrageous, inappropriate, wrong, and demeaning even.
Well, you know, he apologized.
He did.
And that was the right thing to do. It is offensive. It is insulting. It is demeaning. All that language. But here's the thing, Sean.
But wait, here's the thing.
He
said words.
That's where I'm going.
But Clinton's
he not only
actions.
said words, she has done things that were illegal and that she now, and I think the Department of Justice
let's stay on this topic, though. Let's start.
But, okay, he gets off the bus. The proof is in the pudding. For all that banter between two high schoolers on a bus, he gets off the bus for this woman who's so gorgeous. He gives her an air kiss. Nobody's grabbing anybody. Nobody's touching anybody. Nobody's oogling her.
It was locker room talk.
It was
granted
shameful 11 years ago. The man was, we was in entertainment. He was in theater. I don't excuse it. I think it's horrific. But when you juxtapose words against the actions of a woman who sold arms to ISIS, against the actions of a woman whose life was to destroy the women who were victimized by her husband,
I want to stay focused for a second here, because those words were wrong and outrageous. I think we all agree here. Now, what he said was wrong. Now we had then President of the United States in the Oval Office with an intern, and oral sex was performed, and a cigar was used. Look, we're going to have this national discussion. Let's have it. Well, I mean, whoa, I'm not holding back. And exposing himself to a woman and accused of rape by a woman and grabbing a woman, those were behaviors. Is there a double standard for Republicans that have standards and Democrats that have none, because they all defended Bill Clinton?
Of course, Sean. Of course. That's just a truism for any Republican running for any office ever. I knew watching that first presidential debate when Mrs. Clinton at the very end of the debate dumped the Miss Universe, Alicia Machado, on Donald Trump. I knew that that was the first salvo from her massive opposition research file against Donald Trump. And you know that this is the next one, and there are many, many more to come that she has against him. So here's the question. It's not what she's got against Donald Trump that they are selectively leaking now day by day. It's how Donald Trump is going to react to this.
I want to get to that in a second, but I want to stay focused here.
But he's got to pivot this around to what you're saying about actions versus words. And also in the next debate, Sean, Sunday night, if she raises this issue, he should say, you know what, this country has very serious problems. I understand you have to reach back 11 years to try to find something to smear me with, but the American people want concrete solutions.
But you see, I think Hillary's saying this. I think Hillary's saying this is horrific. We cannot allow this man to be president. Now, wait a minute. Hillary Clinton is quoted by one of her close friends as calling Monica Lewinsky, the intern, a narcissistic Looney Tune. The surrogates of the Clintons went out there and said, Paula Jones, you drag $1 through a trailer park. A lot of horrible things were said here. So I guess my question is, I've interviewed, for example, Juanita, Kathleen, and Paula. Here's just two of these women. Let's watch this. You described the scene where he was biting on your lip, and then when it was all over, he was leaving. Said, you better put some ice on that.
Yeah, and casually put on his sunglasses and walked out the door. And I've told my friend who came back and found me that I was sitting there crying and so upset at the time, and I felt like that the next person would be somebody coming through the door to get rid of the body.
It was a terrible ordeal for me, and no woman should be subjected to it. It was an assault. Yes.
He assaulted you.
Yes.
He touched, grabbed, fondled, and kissed you against your will.
Yes.
Juanita once tweeted, "I was 35 years old when Bill Clinton, Arkansas Attorney General, raped me. Hillary tried to silence me. I'm now 73. It never goes away." Now, okay, I'll sit here tonight and say what Donald Trump said is absolutely inappropriate, wrong, locker talk, demeaning even. Are we now going to have a discussion as a nation? If we really care about the issue, the treatment of women, are we now going to have that discussion, which the media has never asked Hillary this campaign about Juanita? They never asked about Kathleen. They never asked about Monica, the narcissistic Looney Tune. They never asked about any of these are assaults except in the case of Monica Lewinsky. So if Hillary tweets this is horrific, we can't allow this man to become president, why did she sit silent when her husband was doing this in the White House?
Well, let's be really clear. Bill Clinton is not on the ballot. Mrs. Clinton is. It is not about Bill Clinton's infidelities. Very few people care whether
she's criticizing Donald Trump.
The question is about the allegations of rape and sexual assault, not about adultery with Bill Clinton. And the question is, because Mrs. Clinton is on the ballot, what was her role in smearing and destroying the women who were involved with her husband and or accused him of these serious crimes? That's the question. So if she wants to raise the women's issue, that's how Donald Trump should answer. If what Donald
Trump said is wrong, and we're agreeing he said what he said is wrong, was it wrong for her to refer to Monica Lewinsky as a narcissistic Looney Tune?
Pete, she called them bimbos, all of them.
That was the bimbo eruptions.
Yes, the bimbo eruptions. She had a team that was out to destroy them. There is a difference between the penal law, sexual assault, rape, and words that are not, in effect, doing anything to any other human being.
Let's take this a step further. There was a child rape victim.
The pedophile.
Hang on. Hillary Clinton, we have the tape of her long before she really got into the world of politics. She defended a man accused of raping a 12-year-old girl. She got the rapist off. What's interesting, we're about to play a tape where Hillary pretty much acknowledges she thought the guy was guilty. And listen how he took a lie detector test and passed. It forever, changed my view that lie detector tests work. And laughs afterwards. Now, we're going to have this really important discussion about Donald Trump's comments. Will the media now also show outrage over all these things up to this point in this campaign, 32 days out, that they've ignored about the other candidate? It's all been out there. You may be seeing this for the first time.
Remember that tape where I represented that guy? It was a fascinating case. It was really an interesting case. This guy was accused of raping a 12-year-old. He took a lie detector test. I had him take a polygraph, which he passed, which forever destroyed my faith in polygraphs.
How did it turn out?
Oh, he plea bargained. We got him off. He was time served in the county jail. He'd been in the county jail about 2 months.
Wow.
The 12-year-old girl in this case, Hillary Clinton
She has a name,
her,
by the way. Kathy Shelton is her name.
All right. Kathy Shelton now realizes that not only did Hillary ruin her life, but Hillary accused this 12-year-old girl of seeking out the company of men like the rapist. She said she was emotionally unstable, and there was absolutely no evidence to support that. She trashed the victim early in her career. That is the course that she has taken throughout her life.
Clinton accused her of seeking out older men, but the comment about the lie detector test, she knows he's guilty.
Right.
Look, Mrs. Clinton enabled an accused rapist in this case and an alleged rapist in her husband. And we're talking about something Donald Trump said laughing with another guy 11 years ago.
Locker room talk.
You know what, Sean? Russia today essentially threatened the United States with World War III with nuclear weapons, and we're talking about something Donald Trump was joking about 11 years ago. This country has serious problems, and we need to be focused on that.
And so does the media. Listen, the media needs to be indicted here because they're all into the tape. They want to play it again and again and again. Has anybody in the media played that Kathy Shelton tape but me?
I have, but I've never heard anyone else do it. But here's the bottom line. We now know what she said to Wall Street. That Wall Street, they're the best people to reform Wall Street.
I need 12 hours to do tonight's show. I can't get it all in. I only have an hour. And by the way, it irritates some people that I have one. All right, guys, good to see you. And coming up, we're going to continue to monitor Hurricane Matthew as it now batters the southeast coast. Plus tonight, we're less than 48 hours away from the second presidential debate in St. Louis. Today, WikiLeaks, as Judge Jeanine said, released excerpts of Clinton's Wall Street speeches. We're going to reveal what she was saying. Very interesting. Jay Sekulow, Doug Schoen, they weigh in with that and more straight ahead. And welcome back to Hannity. So we're only 2 days away from the second presidential debate, and according to a brand new Fox News poll just released tonight, the race is neck and neck. In a four-way matchup, Hillary Clinton has a slim 2-point lead over Donald Trump, well within the margin of error among likely voters. Joining us now, the author of Unholy Alliance, Chief Counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow, former Clinton pollster, Fox News contributor Doug Schoen. I know you have a lot to say. I'm getting to you.
Sure.
Let me start with you. I think we all agree what Trump says on this tape is wrong and inappropriate, as I said. But does it now open a door and a narrative that probably wasn't going to come prior to these tapes being released? And that is the Kathy Shelton issue that I just played, the Juanita Broderick issue, the Kathleen Willey issue, the Paula Jones issue, Hillary's enabling and smearing and slandering of these women. And does it help Trump or hurt Trump?
I mean, my view is that Donald Trump has a very serious situation here, Sean. This was, as you said, indefensible. It was a situation that was caught on tape. It was 10 years ago. But look, the politics of reality it's now front and center in this campaign. You had today a huge story, it would have been a huge story, on these emails and these speeches that have been released. But this situation with the release of this audio and video, I think is very damaging for that campaign. Look, Doug is much better at calling the polls on this than I am, but I think it's very serious.
If Hillary says it's horrific and we can't allow this man in the White House, okay, that's her value and opinion, but you got to, you know the media double standard, Jay. Does it now raise, in other words, is now a lot of things that have been off the table, do they now come to the forefront? In other words, is there going to be a national debate about her behavior, her husband's behavior, the treatment of women by both of them in many ways?
Yeah. Well, look, it may become a national debate, Sean, but it's not a national debate that's going to help Donald Trump. I mean, if anybody thinks this is helping Donald Trump, I completely disagree. And I'm just being, listen, I'm the grandfather of granddaughters, and it's unacceptable what he said.
Do you think this kills Trump's campaign?
No, I don't think it kills Trump's campaign, but I agree with Jay. It is an unnecessary distraction that...
But don't you think the Clinton campaign had this a long time? Don't you think it was released on WikiLeaks Day? You think this is an accident?
Look, I don't think
I'm so cynical. I've been around way too long.
I don't think anything's an accident. This is about winning and losing an election. And when Donald Trump is on issues like change and corruption, he has a real chance to win. When he's defending the indefensible, this tape, when elected officials are moving away from him, and with college-age women being his target audience, and they who'd be most sensitive to this. So I agree with Jay. I think there's a big problem for Trump.
Right, so you were there in the Clinton White House during the Lewinsky.
Yeah.
By the way, intern, cigar, oral sex, lies about it, impeached over it, and his ratings went up.
Right.
So what do you tell Donald Trump tonight?
I tell Donald Trump to say, look, I made a mistake. I've apologized. Let's talk about the issues facing the American people. A stagnant economy.
You think that, well, all right, so Sunday night he goes into this debate, and you know that Martha Raddatz and Anderson Cooper, this is issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
Yep.
But here's the thing. If he makes it clear he's sick and tired of distractions, he's apologized, he's made clear he's not politically correct, and he wants to talk about the real problems and issues.
You think that works?
It's a lot better than going to sex and getting into a smear-a-thon. Absolutely. I absolutely believe that. I would tell Trump that.
You know what? I would actually give the same advice to him. Now, with that said, as a talk show host, to me, the phony moral outrage and selective moral outrage of Hillary is just the hypocrisy on display. That bothers me as a citizen, because there are a lot of millennials who don't even know who Paula Jones is.
Campaign manager right now, you know what you want to say? You'd have her
as a citizen, because there are a lot of millennials who don't even know who Paula Jones is.
Campaign manager right now, you know what you want to say? You'd have her say nothing, because this story is unfolding, and she issued the one tweet. She said nothing since then, and I'm sure her campaign said, you say nothing, this thing's going to play out, and it doesn't play out well for Donald Trump. I'm just giving you the reality check as a lawyer.
So what would you tell him to do
This
Sunday
is not
night?
helpful.
What would you
Again,
tell
the
him?
emails would be the story, but for this.
What would you tell him on Sunday night?
Address the issues. Don't get into a personal attack on Bill Clinton. I don't think that helps him at all. Deal with the fact that this is an administration of 4 more years and the kind of scandals we had. The fact that the Justice Department, the State Department, the White House were in cahoots with each other on all of these email scandals.
Jay, I hear your indignation over Donald Trump.
Handling all the email scandals in all those departments was the same lawyer.
I'm hearing
same
your
lawyer,
indignation.
was at State,
but here's
then
my
the
question.
IRS.
My question is, I hear it. But there's a lot worse on the other side, and I don't hear the same indignation from you. Hang on, let me ask Jay.
Please.
Why? Why is there a double standard for you then? Jay?
Well, look, I mean, it's not a question of a double standard, Sean. It's a question, I'm just giving the political reality of the evidence as it exists. This is a story that is the number one story right now.
Here, why aren't you as outraged on these other issues that should have come up in this campaign, but didn't come up because I would argue we have a biased media, but...
Well, I agree with you that the media is biased. I mean, I don't disagree with you at all on this. But when you are dealing with the campaign, it's like a trial.
Because Hillary
Sometimes you get a curveball.
wasn't the one
you got to react
for
to
whom
it.
the primary allegations were about. Look, Sean.
She was as guilty as smearing these women.
Sean, let me be clear.
Yeah.
The Russians are wreaking havoc in Syria. They are destabilizing the Middle East, killing hundreds of thousands of people.
Trump pivot, apology, I'm wrong, it was 11 years ago, it was stupid, pivot to the issues no matter what Hillary says, wins the debate and wins the race?
I don't know if he wins the race, but it sure is a lot better than getting into the mud. And you know what? The problems of this country haven't changed in the last 48 hours.
Do you agree?
I do. I think if this becomes the cause in which he spends 10 minutes in the debate dealing with, he's going to lose this election. And if he doesn't get on to issues, and look, he should be out tonight, Sean, explaining this and apologizing for what he said. That would handle it. Not through a tweet with a statement and get it over with. If I was his lawyer, that's what I would tell him to do. Get ahead of this. He's not, and every moment that's going by is worse in my view. And the media is not going to help him any. We know that. So the fact is, he better start addressing. I agree with Doug. He has to address the substantive issues here or he's done.
All right, guys, good advice from both of you. Appreciate it. Coming up, WikiLeaks has released damning documents for the Clinton campaign. Dinesh D'Souza, Dr. Jeanine Loudon, they'll weigh in on that. Also, Hurricane Matthew continues to bear down on the southeast coast of the United States. We're going to check in with our reporters on the ground and more on this busy Friday night. And welcome back to Hannity. Today, WikiLeaks released over 2,000 emails allegedly from Clinton campaign staffers. Now, the emails reportedly contain portions of Hillary Clinton's Wall Street speeches in which she claimed to be, quote, far removed from we the middle class. And they all contained information about op research done on Clinton rival Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Joining us now, best-selling author, creator of Hillary's America, which will be released on DVD October the 11th, Dinesh D'Souza. Also, radio talk show host and television talk show host, Dr. Jeanine Loudon. Good to see you both. Dinesh, WikiLeaks, when I look at it, let's see, suggests Wall Street insiders are what is needed to fix Wall Street. She touts her relationship to Wall Street as a senator. No wonder why she didn't want this released. Clinton talks about the challenges of running for office and how you basically have to lie and be a phony, and you act one way in public and another way in private. Does this damage her, or is it overshadowed by this tape of Trump?
Well, I think the issue with Hillary, in the first debate, Trump was right to emphasize the incompetence of Hillary, the failures of Hillary, but he didn't emphasize what he has himself been calling crooked Hillary. And the WikiLeaks, I think, opens up a window into that, because what Hillary does is that on the public campaign trail, she savages Wall Street. She acts like she's their enemy. But once she gets behind closed doors, not only does she receive large amounts of money from these guys, but she intimates to them, wink, wink, that she's actually their friend, and she's happy to conspire with them against the American people when it's in her interest to do so, when she's paid enough.
Yeah, I just got a text from somebody, I haven't been able to confirm this, that apparently that Dr. James Dobson said Trump is a new Christian, and that what he said back in 2005 is probably not the same man today. Do you think the American people would look at it that way, Dr. Loudon, or no way?
I do think the American people would look at it that way. Sean, I was thinking tonight, I wish we had one of your, your town halls that you used to do where you had all the people in a room, because it would be interesting to ask a room full of men if they have never said anything remotely like that, aside from maybe pastors and priests, right, in their lives, because I think that was locker room talk. Mr. Trump has apologized. And then when you hold that up and you look at what Hillary Clinton has done, look, in Mr. Trump's case, in the entire record of his life, Sean, no one was raped, nobody has died, no illegal servers were put in his, I mean, the list goes on.
This is important because we're talking about his words, and then we're talking about Bill Clinton's actions, and Hillary's defense of him, not only defending him, but also smearing women that made allegations. You know, there seems to be huge selective moral outrage here, and everyone's all offended. The person that I laughed the most about is Hillary. He can't be in the Oval Office. She didn't say that about her husband and her husband's actions. While he was in the White House, she went to bat to call Monica a narcissistic Looney Tune. So all these people just saying, oh, Hannity, you got to condemn Trump. All right, his words were wrong. But Bill Clinton's actions are far worse. So why is it covered this way? Dinesh.
Well, I think that what we're seeing, we have seen a biased media in my entire adult lifetime, but never before have I seen the media so aggressively huffing and puffing to drag this crooked hag across the finish line. That is their objective. And so to some degree, Sean, we're seeing journalists who wear the label of journalism, but they're not really journalists. They're actually doing a political mission for Hillary in this election.
Let me go back to a tape I played earlier about Kathy Shelton, and I'm not going to play it, but we played a tape of Hillary Clinton telling the story how she defended a child rapist, and how I even got him to take a lie detector test and forever, told me those things don't work, and then left. She ended up getting the child rapist off, and as a result, Kathy Shelton, has gone on to say horrible things about Hillary, that she was portrayed as a lifeline champion of women on the campaign trail, but just the opposite because of the way she attacked her as a 12-year-old girl. Now, my question, Dr. Loudon, is if that was Trump, I bet everybody in America would have seen that tape. I bet most people saw it right here for the first time tonight.
This is a whole new level of global corruption we're seeing with the media and with politics, both in the United States and abroad. Let's not forget that even the co-founder of Politico, Sean, said that the media cards are stacked against Donald Trump. This is a conspiracy like we have never seen before come to light, and we are witnessing it, and we have a really clear choice to make between someone who is part of that corruption and somebody who said some things once that I'm sure he regrets, and who hasn't.
All right, we're
Sean,
told that Donald Trump momentarily is going to be releasing a two-camera statement. So when that happens, we're going to bring it to our audience live. I've got to run. Thank you both. Dr. Loudon, Dinesh, thank you. And coming up, we have more Hurricane Matthew news. It is bringing a large storm surge and strong winds right up the southeast coast. We'll also have our friends on the ground that are very bravely facing this storm. Of course, our reporters. Plus, in less than 48 hours, Trump, Clinton face off for the second presidential debate. This one in St. Louis. In light of today's breaking stories, what can we, the viewing public, expect? And will another record-breaking number of people be watching? After today, maybe. This is a Fox News alert. Any moment we expect Donald Trump is going to be releasing a video statement on the issue of the tape that was released by the Washington Post earlier today. Now, also after hammering Florida, Hurricane Matthew now is continuing to sit off the coast of Georgia at this moment, causing heavy flooding and high winds. Joining us now on the ground in Savannah, Georgia, is Rob Schmidt. Rob, I'm very fond of Savannah. I used to hang out by Tybee Island when I was in Atlanta. How are things down there?
Shaw, this is such a beautiful city with so much history that we hope is going to be protected tonight. We're still waiting to get popped by Matthew. It's been flirting with the U.S. coastline here for the last couple of days. It still has not made it ashore. That could happen here in Savannah. It could happen closer to Charleston, which is only about 100 miles straight up the road. South Carolina, right across the Savannah River here. We're going to have to wait and see where that line goes. But what's going to be very interesting about this storm is the fact that it's going to be high tide when it looks like it could move in here along this coastline. If you remember, that's exactly what happened with Hurricane Sandy. That is what made that hurricane so devastating, was all of that water. Water is really the problem when it comes to these hurricanes. You know, you saw with Katrina, you saw with Sandy. Water is really what makes things so dicey, so dangerous. Right now in Savannah, it is a mandatory evacuation and a curfew is in effect. You can't be out on the streets. If you are, you need to get home or else you could get a big ticket. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Rob. Stay safe, and all our best to our friends in Savannah. We are awaiting Donald Trump's video statement. Momentarily, we're told it'll come out. Here with reaction to today's events, Fox News contributor Mercedes Schlapp, former racial justice director for Bernie Sanders, Teslin Figaro, is back with us. Guys, good to see you both. Mercedes, what's your reaction?
Thank you. Well, where do you want to start, Sean? I think
anywhere you want. You can start anywhere you want.
I have to say, I think both campaigns are right now in crisis management mode. I think for Donald Trump, this tape it's been devastating after having a rough week last week with the Alicia Machado tweets and the debate, and now with this. And I think the one difference that you're seeing right now is that Donald Trump is taking action immediately. He came out with a statement earlier apologizing. I think he realized that the stakes are too high, that he needs to move and shift quickly to the issues, and I think that that's the right approach. Will it be able to salvage the campaign? You know, this is a wait and see. We've seen the polls are tight, but I think that the steps that he's taking tonight are critical because he realizes that he's got to get back to the issues.
Teslin, your thoughts?
You know, I don't know if we're watching an episode of Pornhub or politics. And, you know, all day long it's been the conversation about, you know, who's sleeping with who. And, you know, if we want to be fair about it, you know, let's talk about Bill Clinton and how women were lined up around the corner with blue dresses.
How dare you bring, I've been watching Twitter all night. How dare you, Hannity, talk about Bill Clinton and how he behaved in the Oval Office. How dare you bring Juanita Broderick and Kathleen Willey and Paula Jones up. That's unfair, Hannity. You can only talk about Donald Trump's words, not their actions, and not what they said about these women.
Well, you know, it's been going on since the beginning of time. Women were lined up with blue dresses since the kings and the Romans in the biblical days. So at the end of the day, there are no victims here. No one's confused. If someone was waiting in line to kiss Donald Trump as a billionaire, just as no one's confused why women had blue dresses in hand with Hillary Clinton. You know, my thing is, if Hillary Clinton pretends to be the black woman that she says she is, when is she going to put Bill Clinton out? When is her wait and exhale moment? When is she going to burn the clothes on the White House lawn, you know, to really prove a point that she won't tolerate any of his foolishness from him and moving forward? What about how she can continue on without Bill Clinton at her side? And that's why millennial women and young women between the ages of 18 and 40 are really not buying into her message.
You see, I agree with all of that, but I know the media as well as I do. Tonight we begin our 21st year here at the Fox News Channel. I'm very appreciative to all of you for making this happen and allowing me to be here, although many people would love to see me go away one day. Mercedes, I want to deal with that.
Oh, you're a keeper, Sean. You're definitely a keeper.
Thank you. But, you know, I understand people's outrage over the tape. I heard it and I said, oh, good grief. You know, oh my. But, you know, why are people more outraged? Why does the media cover the words as strongly as they do? Fair game to me.
Right.
But yet all this campaign, most people do not know who this woman is, Kathy Shelton. Hillary Clinton bragging on tape. Most people don't know that Hillary was part of a group that slammed and slandered these women that were accused. Well, so why is there that double standard?
Well, first of all, I think that the media and many liberals are thinking that this tape is really what's finally going to bury the Trump campaign. They keep looking for that key moment, and yet he still manages to have 9 lives and continue moving forward. And I think for Hillary Clinton is, you know, it really has been a long time since the 1990s, and you know they have the short-term memory, and there is that double standard of the fact that Hillary Clinton did make those comments, did call the women that were victims of her husband bimbos, and made several awful comments, but it's
narcissistic
so amazing.
Looney Tunes.
But you know, it's so
she
amazing.
Wanted to crucify
Sean.
Jennifer
Yeah,
Flowers. All
right,
true.
But Hillary uses that sexist card constantly. She used it on Bernie Sanders.
Do you think this impacts the race? That's the most important question. We'll start with Tesla. Do you think it impacts the race?
No, it's not. I mean, just like on last week, the people who support Trump will support him prior to the debate and after the debate.
But what
on
about
Sunday,
what about those people in the middle, the independents that haven't made up their minds yet? Where do they go?
You know, I really think independents have made up their mind. I mean, you know, I'm an independent like myself, and I think we made up our mind before the race even really begun. I mean, people have heard Hillary Clinton's story. They heard it when she ran the last time and lost and got beat like a drum.
Real quick, Mercedes.
You know, nothing has really changed.
I think that there's those women out there, and I just heard a couple of them saying, "Can we have a do-over? And can we get 2 new candidates on the ballot?" And that can't be the case.
We're going to decide in 32
and they're
days.
Going to have to decide. That's right.
Yeah, well, listen, I can't go back to March 2015.
I can't either.
I need a break.
I can't do it.
All right, guys, good to see you both. And when we come back, we're going to have more with Mercedes and Tesla and after the break. Plus, Donald Trump expected any moment to release a video statement. When he does, we will bring it to you right away, right here, tonight on Hannity. And welcome back to Hannity, and we're being told that Donald Trump will be releasing a video statement momentarily. When it happens, we'll bring it to you right here on Hannity. We continue with Mercedes Schlapp, and Teslin Figaro is back with us. All right, so let's talk about Sunday. He's going to release this statement probably tonight, so I'm told. What does he do, Teslin, Sunday in the debate, assuming that he releases a statement, addresses it before?
Well, you know, I think that Trump probably won't focus on the statement, but focus more on the missed opportunities that he had during the last debate, which was really show what he can do for the country, really focus on what Hillary Clinton has not done over the past 30 years. He started out really strong in the last debate, and I think he'll carry that through. One thing we do know about Trump is that he is a businessman, and I think he'll look at this as another business opportunity for him to be successful. He doesn't like to lose, so I don't think it'll be more so about this Pornhub discussion that we're talking about now, but more so focus on the policies that are needed to move America forward.
You know, let me ask you, Mercedes, I mean, I know there's a lot of sanctimony, especially among media people, and they've never heard these horrible words before or locker room talk before. I think they're all full of crap myself. And I know everyone feigns outrage, and they've never heard this before. It's the worst thing they've ever heard. And I go back to the actions versus the words, and is there going to be context given to Trump vis-a-vis the American people? Are they going to see this as, you know what, we've all heard this before?
It could play out in so many different ways, Sean. You know, I think that the Clinton campaign, obviously, they're going to take advantage of this and push it forward through more negative ads as they keep spending millions of dollars portraying Trump as being a sexist and a racist and et cetera, and all sort of isms. And so I think that the challenge will be is with this direct response coming from Donald Trump, and if he's able to stay on message during this town hall debate and say, you know, I'm not perfect, I'm flawed, you know, but I'm here because I'm with the people, and I'm here for those who don't have a voice and who have been left behind. And I think if he speaks from the heart and he comes across being authentic, I think it could help him. I mean, I think he realizes at this point that this has been an awful mistake, and I think he wants to, you know, clear the air and move forward and move on and talk about what's important in America.
And what would you tell him to do Sunday night?
I think he's got to stick to the fact that he had, with this apology, which he's already said, and we'll see what he says in the video, and then say, look, we got to focus on the policies. We got to focus on job creation, on national security, on safe communities. Those are the messages that could resonate with that will resonate with the American voters, and pivot and talk about not only his strengths, but about Hillary's deficiencies, and just trustworthiness of Hillary Clinton. And I think we've seen now more and more that's coming out of the fact that obviously she struggles to connect with middle America, and she says one thing publicly and then she says something different privately to the Wall Street, you know, big money people. And I think that that's important to expose.
Teslin, again, let's go back to this.
What?
You know, assuming he does this video, if not tonight, I guess tomorrow morning, because it hasn't been released quite yet. We're told it's coming any minute, though. Assuming this comes out, assuming it's sincere, assuming it resonates a little bit, then it's going to come up. If I imagine question 1, 2, 3, and 4, what does he do? Repeat the statement and move on?
Yeah. Guess what? Nobody cares. You know, where's Heidi Fleiss? She has a long list of Democrats and Republican men who have been, you know, quite frequent.
If I ever get in trouble, I want you defending me. You're good.
Well, let's look at Marilyn Monroe with the beloved JFK. I mean, this has been going on since the beginning of time. You know, nothing is new. There's nothing new or different. Women and men have laid at the feet of powerful people, including
King David had 500 concubines, for crying out loud. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, he did. And I'm hoping Hillary Clinton has her a mistress on the side this time around, since she got trashed the first time.
I don't know that the Clintons ever apologized to Paula Jones. They had to pay money. I don't know if they apologized to lying about Jennifer Flowers. He did admit it in the Star Report. I don't know if they ever apologized to Juanita, just the opposite, or Kathleen.
But he got impeached. He got disbarred. I mean, come on, Sean. I mean, he did suffer. He did have several consequences that American people have forgotten, and millennials don't even know about.
All right, guys, thank you both. And if that statement is released, we'll show it to you momentarily as Hannity continues straight ahead. Welcome back to Hannity. This is going to be a fascinating 32 days. All right, a lot of people, rightly so, I would say, are outraged by the inappropriate comments that Donald Trump made, the words he spoke. Question is this now going to be in play? Because there's a lot of actions by the Clintons that the media has ignored. I challenge all in the media. Are you now going to talk to the women that accuse the Clintons of inappropriate behavior, of smears, of slanders? Are you going to interview Kathy Shelton? Of course, Hillary Clinton represented the guy that she claims raped her. And you hear Hillary on tape bragging and laughing about it. In other words, as the next 32 days open up a whole new Pandora's box. We'll see you on Sunday night. John Scott is next.